had always felt like a ghost. In the bustling city of Portland, Oregon, she moved through the crowded streets unnoticed, a quiet teenager with her head buried in a sketchbook. The world was her canvas, and she painted it in lines and shadows, seeing the small details others missed. People called her Dreamy Maya, not knowing there was more than dreams in her mind. They didn't know she was collecting moments, saving them from disaster without anyone knowing. She was a guardian in whispers, an invisible force in the everyday occurrences around her, constantly protecting people from the chaos of life. And she did this by changing the very fabric of time itself, rewinding moments to undo what was about to go wrong. But how did she do it? What led her to become this mysterious figure? Let's dive into the story. One gray, drizzly afternoon in Portland, Maya was wandering through a deserted alley behind the towering buildings of the city center. She was sketching the graffiti-covered brick wall when a sudden clap of thunder boomed overhead. The sky was bruised and heavy with rain. Above her, a violent electrical storm brewed at the University of Portland's experimental physics lab. A bolt of bright green lightning arced from the lab's roof, striking a power line hanging precariously over the narrow alley. It snapped, showering sparks onto the ground where Maya stood, her sketchbook clattering to the floor. For a moment, everything went silent except for the hiss of electricity in the air. Then the world exploded into a cacophony of sound and color. A blinding white light engulfed her vision. She felt something hot and prickly crawling up her spine like 1,000 tiny needles. Then everything went black. When Maya opened her eyes, the storm had passed. The clouds were gone and a sliver of sun peeked through the parting gray veil. She sat up on the damp ground, heart pounding, and looked around. The broken power line had vanished. Had it all been a dream? She touched her chest where a searing pain throbbed beneath her ribs. It felt like the inside of her was buzzing, vibrating at a frequency she couldn't hear. Cautiously, she got to her feet and brushed dirt off her jeans. As she turned to leave, she saw something strange lying on the ground. It was her sketchbook, but it wasn't the pages she was looking at. Something inside had shifted, like the pages had been shuffled and stapled together in a different order. Startled, she flipped it open. The pages were blank. Her detailed drawings from earlier in the day were gone. Panicked, she scrambled through the rest of the book, but every drawing, every page she'd worked on for weeks was missing. For the rest of the day, Maya felt a growing sense of unease. The pain in her chest intensified, and she kept reliving the blinding flash of light from the storm in her mind. She tried to shake it off, blaming it on the shock of the accident. But as the days passed, the headaches grew worse and the memory of the green lightning refused to fade. It was like a splinter in her brain driving her crazy. She found herself questioning her own sanity. Had she been injured more seriously than she realized? Was the storm somehow messing with her mind? She was desperate for answers. Then one afternoon, while walking to her art class, she experienced a moment that changed everything. She was crossing the street when she spotted a small boy on a scooter. He was zooming dangerously toward the crosswalk, weaving between parked cars. He was so absorbed in steering his scooter that he didn't notice the speeding car rounding the corner. The driver slammed on the brakes, but it was too late. The collision was unavoidable. The image of the approaching car burned into Maya's mind. She watched in horror as the boy's eyes widened with fear, unable to help. She just stood there frozen, as if the world itself had paused. Then the most bizarre thing happened. In the blink of an eye, the world shifted. The boy was back where she first saw him, innocently riding his scooter away from the parked cars and oblivious to the danger ahead. The driver hadn't honked yet. He was still a good 5 seconds away from the intersection. Time had reversed, and she had witnessed it firsthand. This wasn't a trick of the light or a figment of her imagination. The world really had rewound. Maya stared at the boy in disbelief, then at the driver. A million questions exploded in her mind. Why did this happen? Why did time reverse? And why did she witness it? As the days passed, Maya tested her newfound ability, which she called temporal echo, trying to understand its limits and origins. She discovered that she could only rewind moments she witnessed directly, like when a customer at a cafe was about to spill their coffee or a loose dog was about to dart into the street. Each time she used her ability, a sharp, painful echo reverberated in her mind, like a physical blow to her brain. The bigger the event, the more painful the echo. It was as though her ability took a toll on her, weakening her for hours afterward. At first, the rewinds were small, mere seconds, but Maya soon learned that she could alter longer stretches of time, minutes even, by focusing her energy. However, doing so left her drained and often resulted in debilitating headaches that kept her bedridden for days. She tried to ignore her power, hoping it would go away, but she couldn't bear the thought of someone getting hurt because she didn't intervene. So she started using it, fixing little things that were about to go wrong. She was no flying superhero swooping in to save the day. She was a whisper of prevention, an unseen hand guiding events away from disaster. She became a phantom force in the lives of people she didn't know, subtly nudging events into safer paths. She stopped a pot of boiling water from spilling, a kite string from tangling in a power line, a toddler from wandering into traffic. She was everywhere and nowhere, a silent guardian angel watching over the city. One day, though, she encountered a challenge that pushed her abilities and resolve to the limit. It was a day like any other in Portland, busy but not particularly eventful until Maya rounded a corner and saw the looming shadow of a crane at a major construction site. It was swaying dangerously, its massive metal arm swinging out of control and threatening to smash into the crowded bus stop across the street. People screamed in terror as they realized the danger. Maya's blood ran cold. The bus stop was packed with her fellow citizens, families, students, office workers, all oblivious to the danger above them. In that moment, she knew a rewind was necessary, even if the pain nearly knocked her off her feet. There was no time to think. Taking a deep breath, she focused all her energy, her body tingling with anticipation. With a scream of mental pain, she rewound the moment, the world blurring into a nauseating flash of white light. When it reformed, the crane was still, its arm pointed safely away from the bus stop. People stirred, confused by the sudden stillness of the swaying crane. No one noticed anything. No one saw her, the girl on the sidewalk clutching her head, tears streaming down her face. She had saved them all, but the price was a blinding headache that left her weak for hours. From that day on, Maya understood her true power. It wasn't about being seen or praised. It was about the quiet, unseen act of making things right. She became the silent protector of her city, a ghost no one knew existed, leaving a trail of small, impossible miracles behind her, and proving that the greatest hero can be the one who changes the world 1 second at a time. And that's all for today. Please subscribe for more updates.